Hello and welcome to the HQ at HZ News. I'm Zoe Thompson.
And I'm Hannah Parkins. Today we'll be talking about yesterday's astonishing election results and how our government plans to deal with the rare situation of a tie.
And Hannah, this is indeed a rare occurrence. The last time a tie took place was in 1824, when none of the four candidates received an Electoral College majority. John Adams was elected by the House, even though Andrew Jackson had the most electoral votes.
And let's take a quick moment to explain the Electoral College. The Electoral College is a system created by our founding fathers so that all the states, big or small, have an equal say in the presidential elections. The popular vote, cast by American citizens, makes up the state majorities and are taken by our electors as the Electoral College vote.
These electors can prove to be a problem, though, and could be responsible for the outcome of the presidential elections. To talk more about the electors and their influence on the elections, Patrick McElravy is reporting from Washington, D.C. Patrick?
Thanks, Hannah and Zoe. In our nation, once the citizens have cast their vote, the popular vote then determines how our electors will, or should, submit their votes. I use the term should, for the electors may choose to remain anonymous, and with this screen, although their role is mostly symbolic, they have the power to change the vote of their entire district, and therefore the outcome of the election, with little to no legal repercussions. The charge in 29 states involves only a misdemeanor, or a fine of generally $1,000. In the other 21 states, the faith of the elector lies only in the pledge to honor the public vote. However, roughly 10% of electors, while casting their vote on election day, are continually fighting the urge to vote for whom they wish, rather than whom their district cast as a majority. These electors are not only fighting their own urges, but are facing immense pressures from outside influences. In 2004 election, 1/3 of electors were contacted to change their vote. At least one of these messages contained death threats, and many more were filled with bribes. In fact, since the introduction of the Electoral College, there have been 56 elections, and of those, 19 have had more than one faithless elector, which marks up to over 1/3 of all presidential elections. The controversy surrounding electoral voter laws is that any sort of mandatory control could be deemed as unconstitutional. It is this controversy that has placed us in this historic tie today. To help mitigate the uncertainty surrounding this issue for further elections, efforts have been made to allow the passage of the Uniform Faithful Presidential Electors Act, which would provide greater assurance for the presidential selection process. Unfortunately, such an act is not currently in place, and due to these faithless electors, we are now left in such a confusing tie we face today. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Patrick. Now we'll be continuing our coverage on the tie that is revealing our government's controversial plan for dealing with the situation.
Our Constitution states that in a case of a tie, our Senate and House of Representatives will be in charge of voting for the Vice President and President. Here is Liz Bueller reporting from San Francisco to talk more about the tie.
Thank you, Hannah and Zoe. I'm here in San Francisco to talk about the groundbreaking tie that has occurred between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. Here is Sally Lewis, a San Francisco local, to offer her opinion on the situation. Sally, are you surprised by this turn of events?
I'm very surprised. I, like many Americans, am trying to figure out how it's even possible to have a tie for the presidency. It's exactly the same vote. Is this the Electoral College? What is this all about?
And do you think that that the way our government chooses to deal with this situation reveals flaws in our Constitution?
I think so, a little bit, only because we can end up with presidents from two different political parties. It might be what the country needs.
Thank you, Sally. Obviously, people have many different opinions about our detailed Constitution. Back to Zoe and Hannah.
Thank you, Liz. Join us again tomorrow for a discussion on what happens next.
Thank you for watching HC News.